I mean, that could be that even getting into this relationship was quite a change for you, that it came as a big surprise, caused a bit of a transformation. So when this connection came in, emotionally, you thought you were getting stability. You thought you were going to get security with this person, growth. But there was, within this connection, there was reminiscing about an external person. This is it. This is interesting. There was reminiscing about an external person. So if this wasn't from you, it would have been from the other person. So even at the very beginning of the connection, they were already had their eyes on something outside. Christ. Okay, right. They're not messing around with this. They've shown me straight away. So the situation came in. It was a surprise. It started to caused some transformation, but it wasn't something that you were expecting to come in. Emotionally, you've seen this situation as bringing you stability, security, but they were, even at the beginning, had their eyes reminiscing on something that is external to this connection. So potentially a previous relationship. There's been some kind of surprise invitation, and that has led to a separation. So there's been some kind of meeting, some kind of invitation, which I think is potentially from this person that they were reminiscing, and then it's immediately gone into separation. There was a lot of chemistry here. You would have felt like, oh God. You would have felt like there was a lot of chemistry with this person, okay? So it has come in like a bit of a bolt out of the blue. It was very shocking, I think, to you when this person even showed up. The chemistry that you had between each other, you were having a lot of fun. It seemed like you both liked each other, like sort of the same. And then immediately, this has come in. And this is clarifying the stability. So it's like you thought you were getting this stability from this person, this security. That's how you viewed them as they came in. That may be how they presented themselves to you. But immediately you've been stabbed in the back with something very shocking. I mean, I think that's what they're showing me in this top row. That the person was reminiscing about somebody. They've reached out and they've immediately run to them. Interesting. They think that they have a soul connection, a soul contract with this other person, with the external person. But hang on, clarify that soulmate card for me, please. I think that that's a karmic connection, but they think that there's a soul contract at play there. A soul connection. What did I say? Oh no. Oh no. All I'm hearing is they've been led down the garden path. They've been led down the garden path. So it's like someone else has convinced them of this. Potentially that person, potentially the other person is saying to them, but you're my soulmate. We have this soul connection. And they have, oh God, they have run back to that person, but they're mistaking the connection, and it's actually a karmic connection. I knew it was a karmic connection. They've been led down the garden path. But they've stabbed you, and they've stabbed you in the back to do that. Oh no, so they have gone off to this person, and that has pushed you straight into this sort of energy of chasing. I'm being told energetically, so you're energetically chasing. So with the overthinking, playing things over in your mind over and over again, so you're not actually reaching out to them in terms of like messaging them, calling them. You're not doing that, but energetically you're chasing. But this is, they're very easily influenced, I'm being told. There's someone that's very easily influenced. So where this person's contacted them and fed them this story about them being soulmates, it's like they've run off. They've run, okay, sorry, I was a bit shocked by that. It's like they've run off, skipping back to that person, going, oh, you're my soulmate. But in actuality, that's a karmic connection that needed to be closed out. And the connection with you is a natural soul tie connection. Oh no. So they've mistaken the connection. Which, and this makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense that you've come together. Something very shocking and sudden has pulled you guys apart. For them to go and close out their karmic cycle, or for them not to go and but for them to close out their karmic cycle, but they've let me make sense of this. They've been fed a story and have gone back to that person thinking that they have this soul tie with them, when they were meant to close out that karmic cycle. Because of the connection with you. Oh, goodness me. So they've completely mistaken it. And that, oh gosh, that ending was meant to bring growth. It was meant to bring change. It was meant to bring a transformation, the ending with you. But I've got a horrible feeling that because of this, because of the mistake that's been made, I'm being told it's altered the timeline. It's altered the timeline. crikey. Oh. Okay, I mean, it seems they're in separation from this person, potentially. Something has happened here, and this is about stopping the pattern. That we've got the axe here, but this makes me wonder whether this is a cosmic trigger, and whether the divine have come in to separate that, to bring them back into alignment, because they've gone off on a wayward path. Because they've mistaken the connections. And I mean, it's easily done. It is very confusing when you're trying to determine, but this is exactly why it's so important not to label these connections and just follow what you're being guided to, surrender. Because when you start labeling things and you get muddled, you end up in a situation like this. I just said catastrophe. You end up in a catastrophe. And this whole scenario was meant to end that cycle for them. It was meant to break that pattern, break that loop, but they've repeated it. Let me just finish this row. They've repeated it. There we go. And so where you've turned and focused on yourself, that in turn is bringing them towards you. So this apology, you may not have already received the apology, but it's looming. This is hovering energy. Interested in conversing more. Awaited message arrives. Text, call, email, hovering. And that's because you've turned and focused on yourself, because it's a twin flame dynamic. So that's what brings you back into union energy. But this is concerning. That, God. What I want to check into is this being led down the garden path. So it's like this other person, the external person, is aware of those types of connections, because they're feeding them that narrative. But I'm your soulmate, but I'm this, I'm that, but they've confused the situation. Let me switch cards. Let's just check really quickly if there's going to be any movement. And then we'll see what's around their energy. What sort of energy they're sat in. Okay. Is there any movement coming for this collective in the next few weeks, please? Okay, so there's a detail here to do with pets. So you may have shared a pet with this person. Pets will be significant. Oh, your pets may even be acting a little bit strange at the moment, things like that. But there's something to do with pets. But there were a lot of challenges in this connection. I mean, we know that. Oh gosh, that's too many. But you have a guardian as well. You have someone in spirit that is watching over you, that is protecting you as you go through this journey. because there's huge cycles here to close out. So you've got the cycle of that's been repeating for you since childhood, and they've got this cycle. So you've both got massive cycles that you're closing out, which again is the whole point of a twin flame dynamic. You come together to grow, to expand, to move forward through the lessons that you experience. But there was somebody else within this energy. Like I said as well, I feel like immediately they still had, even at the very beginning, they still had their eye on this person. They were reminiscing about them while you were sat in this energy of thinking you were building permanent stability, growth with somebody. Okay, so we've got health issues that are clarifying the pets. So there may have been a health issue with one of your pets. You may have even lost one of your pets around this time. Okay, so earth signs are significant here. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That's interesting. So they're still trying to figure things out, but they're being guided by guardians, by their spirit team, by lost loved ones, whoever that may be. Last card out, communication. So the communication is coming. Within the next 2 weeks, it should be them. They'll be back on the bottom of the deck. So this should be coming towards you within the next 2 weeks. Be cautious when this approaches you. Honestly, like, be cautious, please. This person, even at the very beginning of your connection, had their eyes elsewhere. Literally, confessions, where I've cut the deck. I think they know that they need to come forward and speak up about this as well. Confess this. Okay, what's around the masculine energy at the mirror, please? Especially our heart space to do the collective. They're tired, I'm being told. They're tired of repeating the same patterns. I think they probably realised as soon as they got back there. First card out as well. Oh. Brace yourselves. This is incoming in the next couple of weeks. They know. They know that they need to confess here. If they're tired of repeating the same old lessons. And they know that they've created a lot of emotional distance between the two of you. So now this is interesting. So now, and this has pushed them now into the energy of chasing. So that, I mean, that in itself, their energy is chaotic. Chaotic. The second they got with you, they were still reminiscing, watching somebody from their past. The second that's fallen apart, they're back to chasing you. It's like they don't know they don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. But they're constantly leaving these little fires wherever they go. And then they just run to the next, create the next fire. Their energy is very chaotic. They need to... I mean, I want to say they need to settle down. Like, Jesus. Not settle down as in, like, get married, but, like, calm down. Like, settle down a little bit. They're just so... Their energy feels so frantic to me. Like, they don't know where to turn. They don't know what to do. Like, oh, this has ended. I'll just go back there then. But they know that they need to come in. So they're thinking about that confession. They know that they need to come in with a confession. But emotionally, they know they've created a lot of distance, a lot of space. But they're reaching their breaking point. They're overwhelmed. They are very overwhelmed. This is somebody as well that is very charming. There's somebody that comes across as very kind-hearted. I think that's gonna test your abandonment wound. I don't know if they are going to come in with the confession. They're so torn between this confession, I think. They're trying to convince themselves at the moment that they're better off. But it's a mask. They're pretending. Emotionally, they're masking. And this behaviour, this disappearing on one person and then chasing the next, is leaving them feeling completely empty. So it doesn't make them feel good inside, internally. They feel hollow, empty, shallow. And they're being they need to open their heart. They need to be more receptive. They need to be more vulnerable within their connections and stop just bolting every time they get triggered by something. So I'm being told even the tiniest triggers make them run, even the smallest things, which is why their energy feels so chaotic, so frantic. They want more balance. They want more peace. So now mentally they're sat in a fog. They don't know how to move forward. They know they're toing between the confession and no, I'm better off. It's better for me to just be away from that person. But emotionally, they don't actually feel like that. So it's leaving them in this heart fog, where their emotions are blocked. They're just, oh, too many. They're just messed up in their minds. Again, too many. It's too chaotic. The energy is too chaotic. But so yeah, they do. They feel they're lonely. Emotionally, they feel withdrawn, lonely, which again brings them back into being conflicted. But there's other people that are having an influence here that are creating blocks. There's third parties here. And that doesn't even necessarily need to just be that other person. This can be friends, families. But there's third parties here that are influencing. Oh, I'm being told it's multiple people. So I think it's coming at them from all angles. So then they slip into the rejection energy, the abandonment energy. So they likely have similar wounds. And it just triggers this deep, irrational fear in them. especially if they've got people in their ear. It won't work with that person. You're too different from them. Don't do that. And then it's triggering, they'll just leave you. And then that triggers their abandonment wounds. So they run. And this, again, makes perfect sense if you're in a twin flame dynamic, because you'll be mirrors. So where you've got this heavy, deep abandonment wound, they also will too. But unfortunately, they've created a pattern where they run from connection to connection, whereas I don't believe that you do that. I just want to get the perspective of the divine, literally, as I say, of the divine masculine on the bottom of the deck. Let me put these away and get another deck.